Welcome to the Beat LA podcast, the only podcast bringing you Bay Area sports from a Hollywood perspective, brought to you by two San Francisco guys in Hollywood, just trying to win the group chat. We talk 49ers, Giants, Warriors, movies, TV, pop culture, and the occasional life lesson we learn the hard way. It's sports talk for creatives, creative talk for sports fans. My name is Matt Ferrucci, and I am joined, as always, by a man who in the 90s gave JFK Jr. a run for his money, Mr. Paul Rule.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me, Matt.
It really is. And I don't even know if I believe it, but...
You know why? It's because it's our 60th pod.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Sure.
It's
60th pod.
It's almost our
We're going to get to it
pod.
later. We're going to get to it later.
I was just reading, this love story show.
I'm obsessed with it.
Are
Paul.
you watching?
Oh my God.
Well, Carolyn Bessette is like one of the hottest. She's the hottest other Bessette, not to be confused with Jacqueline Bessette.
Yeah.
So,
ooh, Jacqueline Bessette. Cut to that.
Would she Oxford Blues? Is that the movie with her? Like with Rob Lowe?
Where she was sleeping with her son's student?
Yeah.
That was that one?
I think it was.
Class Act.
That was Class Act.
Class Act. That was a good one.
So there's a whole thing about his fashion, and he wore his baseball hat backward all the time.
Yeah.
And apparently that's back in.
It is.
I never stopped doing that, Matt.
A lot of people, I mean, we're going to talk about this later in Best Things, but love stories taking over the zeitgeist right now.
The other thing I have in common with JFK Jr. is I also don't know how to fly. That's terrible.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ, Paul.
We have to introduce someone, Matt.
We do. Folks, welcome back to the Beat LA podcast. This podcast, which has flown for 60 episodes now, very much like the Millennium Falcon, okay? We don't know how we're staying in the air. So we decided to get a new pilot. We have a new Nick Conrad, and we're going to be referring to him from now on as Nick Conrad. Why fuck things
Why
up?
mess it up?
Why mess it up?
That's like a guy who gets divorced and he just marries one with the same name.
It could be like his
doesn't have to
wrestling
worry about
name.
saying the wrong name.
Folks, welcome to the show, Mr. Tanner Hall. Tanner, what's going on, man?
I got a bad feeling about this.
Look at him.
Oh, boy.
He looks good.
Welcome,
guys.
Tanner.
Hey.
We appreciate you, man. Thanks. We've got big shoes to fill.
Yeah, my dad was a clown, so I'm used to it.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
But can you ride to the top of a mountain on a bike can you ride up Everest like Nick Conrad?
Oh, what kind of bike?
E-bike. He could with an e-bike.
You know what? I was tired of Nick Conrad's, jaunts around the world with health and fitness. And it's no knock on you, Tanner.
No, it sure is.
But hey, Tanner, introduce yourself to the people. Where are you from, man?
Originally from Pasadena, California.
Oh, Pasadena.
Yeah, but grew up in Dallas and then Montana.
Yeah. Are you a Cowboys fan?
No, I'm a hockey fan.
He's a hockey fan.
He's a big guy. He's an LA Kings fan, right? Am I right about that?
That's right. See ya, Hiller.
Yeah.
I couldn't help noticing your USA Hockey hat.
Oh yeah, I've been letting the Canadians know what's going on here for the past week.
You know, Tanner was a 6th round draft pick by the Vancouver Canucks.
Amazing.
You know
I
that.
turned them down because they were Canadian.
That's right.
He knocked his own teeth out, I heard.
Yeah, when the U.S. Olympic team beat Canada in the gold medal match, Tanner almost got arrested. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, that's absolutely correct. Yeah. Well, I framed another guy from knocking my teeth out. I'm rocking the 30s. Yeah. I got my fake retainer in right now.
You know, in the wizard behind the curtain up in the booth is Mark at Mastermind Media, who's this is his place. Mark, do you think we can replace Tanner, or is it too late?
There's always time.
There's always time. All right, folks.
This is known as the audition, man.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, Tanner. Paul, how the hell are you?
I'm good, Matt. I'm glad to be back. We had a great guest today. Very excited about our guest.
I'm very excited about our guest. Before we get to our guest, though, I just want to say you got back from Deer Valley, Utah, cut to the Succession music Tanner, okay? What was that like? Was it just rich people skiing, or was it like polygamy or Big Love 2? What's it like in Utah?
So there's a beer that I saw. It's called Polygamy something, and it says, "Why have just one?" And I thought that was a good slogan.
Polygamy beer.
Yeah, it was like Polygamy Ale or something. There was a T-shirt. Why have just one? So I'm a big believer in more than one.
Did you try
beer.
it? Was it tasty?
I did not try it. Deer Valley's great. Among other things, a shout out to Matt Edelman, a good buddy, good friend of the pod. Matt's a great guy, college friend. He and his wife Jen invited Kristen and me as a belated wedding gift to their beautiful house, massive, gorgeous house. Yeah. Kind of walk in, walk out from the mountain in Deer Valley. There's no snowboarding in Deer Valley. you're much less likely to get basically backdoored by a fucking snowboarder who sends you to the hospital. So it's a great spot.
I love that. I love what you just said, everything you said. A belated wedding gift?
Yeah, I've been married 3 years. They gave it to us 3 years ago to host us there, and we finally got around to it. I will say Park City was a little sad, one, there wasn't a lot of snow, but two, I remember fondly the few times I went to Sundance. You know, Sundance has now moved. It's
yeah,
now
they have
moved
their
to
Boulder next year.
Boulder, which is fucking bullshit.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? They tried to keep him.
Yeah.
But much like, you know, the Giants and, you know, the 49ers going to Santa Clara, it just wasn't enough. The bid wasn't enough.
How are you, man? How you been?
I'm good. You know, not much to report, Paul.
Okay.
Other than just living the dream.
Nightmares are dreams too, fellas.
Yeah, exactly. What dreams may come.
Wet dreams may come. Remember I remember when everything became they took movie titles and turned them into porno titles.
Well, so there was What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams, which became Wet Dreams May Come.
Right, that was easy. That's a layup.
But there was another Robin Williams film that I know Tanner was a fan of. It was there was Patch Adams, which was Snatch Adams.
Talk about clowns.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing like a clown porno.
I'm good. Speaking of that, I'm working on another screenplay. I was trying to get a movie made. It's all yada yada. No one gives a shit.
Well, you're, by the way, good guy to slip a script to coming up here.
It's not bad. Yes, and very good segue, Paul. We got a great show today, folks. Paul, we have a guest. Joining us is Todd Traina, San Francisco native, big tennis guy. He runs one of the most important film institutions in the city as the head of the San Francisco.
I think one of the most in the country.
San Francisco International Film Festival coming up on their 69th year of doing just a great film festival. We're going to be talking Indian Wells, the Oscars, and how the hell you keep movies alive in San Francisco.
Right.
with
Todd was long time on the board of the Tennis Hall of Fame, so he's tennis bona fides and his film bona fides.
Yeah.
And all-around great guy. And I played a lot of tennis with him over the years, and since he's not sitting here right now, I would say that I've got a winning record against Todd.
Really? You know,
he's not here to defend himself yet.
If Tanner and I played doubles against you and Todd, I think me and Tanner would win.
I feel like you guys would be trying to hit nut shots all the time. Just like hit it as hard as you can at my nuts. Tanner seems like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Do I?
Yeah.
What gives you that impression?
Because you're a hockey guy, man.
You got me there.
If it hits you, is it my point or yours? Yeah. Well, I'm winning then, I guess.
That's true. It's very true. Let me do some house cleaning here.
Okay.
Folks, welcome to the Beat LA podcast. You can watch and listen to the show on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Listen to it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Rate it, subscribe, send it to your friends in the group chat. And Paul, I want to say today's show is brought to you by our sponsor, Pawn Shop in Hollywood. It's not actually a pawn shop. It's a seriously cool spot that's going to be opening this summer. It's a sports bar, luxury sports boxes, podcast studios. It's a high-end sports bar with a James Beard award-winning chef. Basically, as you said, it's the sports bar LA always deserved, and they're a sponsor of the show, and I love it.
Friends of the pod, yeah.
You know, I can't wait for that place.
I can't wait for that place.
We're going to be in there in a pod studio with Tanner.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, with who was our guest going to be? Who's that? You said, who was married to Steve Avery? What was the name of that girl?
Oh, yeah, Alicia Cuthbert.
Alicia Cuthbert. Remember her?
I absolutely do. She was also in Old School.
Dad, stop.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey, but it's true. To think that in just 7 months, you're going to be graduating from high school.
We should get her on the pod.
But she was married to a hockey player.
Yeah.
She, you know, I follow her on TikTok. God, I'm a dirtbag. But she has some really pretty good stuff on there. All right, before we get to Todd Traina, let's just quickly do our Bay Area sports check-in.
Great.
Giants, Warriors, 49ers. Where do you want to go first?
Spin the dial.
Let's spin the dial.
Let's go Niners real quick. The Combine just happened.
Combine just happened. John Lynch was there. Kyle wasn't. John Lynch had his press conference. From his press conference, a couple things I could deduce. Okay. Deduce. An ex-49er is going to come back into the fold. Could be Dre Greenlots, could be Deebo Samuel. How do you think about bringing the old guys back?
I think it's a mistake.
You think it's a mistake?
Bill Walsh would never have done that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We were looking at some wide receivers. For those that aren't listening out there or watching, Omar Cooper, wide receiver from Indiana.
I saw that. There's some mock drafts that we're going to pick him up. There's also this guy, Cassius something from A&M, whose last name I forget. Apparently has very short arms, but he's an edge rusher.
Cassius something.
I think his last name is Money.
Cashes clay money.
Wait, is it Texas A&M?
Texas
Florida?
A&M.
Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Man, I love it. I love your insight.
Did you see the fucking? I did research that I forgot the guy's name.
Yeah, whatever. Cassius. That's great.
Yeah.
Short arms.
All I'm thinking about is tennis. I have my Sergio Tacchini sweat top on, which I wear when we have a tennis guest, like Brad Gilbert.
Here, I'm just going to throw some darts against the wall, and I'm not talking about cigarettes here. Real quick, a lot of franchise tags are being placed on guys, transition tags. There was a trade today. The Rams, you were talking about this last week, about we need a risk-taking, gunslinging GM. Les Snead has traded his first-round pick every year for a guy that can help them win now.
Yeah.
And they just traded for a cornerback from Kansas City, an all-pro. I think the Niners are going to make a couple of deals.
I don't know. We talked about this in the last pod. That my theory that John Lynch is the problem, that they haven't had this gunslinging GM who is willing to take chances like Schneider in Seattle, like Roseman in Philly. So there's one thing I want to talk about, Matt, is I want to talk about the Trent Williams contract situation we're in. You know why he needs all this extra money?
Yeah, I know.
Because he's got a wife and a girlfriend. He's got kids with both. That's very fucking expensive. Remember when Patrick Ewing said we make a lot of money, but we spend a lot of money back when the NBA was on strike many years ago?
Right.
Trent Williams, look, he needs the money, and we might have to start a GoFundMe. But his wife apparently is totally fine with this.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. He's basically, speaking of polygamy, he's in a throuple, and everyone's fine with it.
Everyone's cool. He's got kids with both. He just needs the money to be able to afford it. Right?
They're going to restructure his deal, I think.
Yeah.
And open up some cap room. Listen, when you have a nickname like the Silverback, like he does, you can have 4 women.
And also the bareback, I hear.
The bareback.
The bareback silverback.
Yeah, DR. All right, that's the 49ers. Let's go to your favorite, the reason why you breathe and get out of bed in the morning.
I know. Where's my mitt?
Giants spring training, Paul.
Right. This is when I put on my shoeless Joe Jackson Princeton baseball hat.
Okay, let me. Can I set the table here just real fast? Rough starts of it. Vitello with his press conference and a little bit of that right when spring training started. But I think it's gone pretty smooth. Ron Washington, God, I love to have him in the dugout, bringing him along. It seems like it's been a pretty smooth spring. Bryce Eldridge is knocking the cover off the ball. Ron Washington says he's playing first base great. What are your thoughts on spring training so far?
Yeah, no, I think Vitello, I thought his follow-up to that awkward press conference, I thought he answered it pretty well, which was, he said it's not that he wasn't going to come to San Francisco, but that he would have handled things differently when he was leaving Tennessee. He's got a bit of a bulldog in him. I think you don't want to fuck with the guy. I think the team chemistry seems good. Don't forget, by the way, they had the best record in the Cactus League last year, and that didn't turn out that well. Sure. They got smoked by Team USA yesterday.
15-1, it was great.
15-1. But I think the esprit de corps is there, as they say. I'm looking forward to the season. I think their relievers are going to be better than you think. I think they've got some stuff off their sleeve. I think this Hauser guy, Doogie Hauser, is going to suck.
Yeah.
I think that Trevor McDonald's going to be in the rotation soon. I'm excited about this Tidwell kid. I just can't wait for baseball. And I'm actually very excited about the WBC. I think this is going to be really fun.
I love Tidwell. Because Tidwell is like some sort of code word that would be in like Wall Street, like Endicott Steel, Tidwell.
Blue Horseshoe loves Endicott Steel.
So
like Dick Trickle.
Dick Trickle.
You know that was he was a race car driver.
Dick Poole, pitching coach.
Dick Poole. We could keep going.
Dickie Thon. Remember him? Shortstop. Yeah. Any other dicks?
Magic Johnson. Not quite a dick, but
right. Magic's Johnsons.
Yeah.
Giants
Tanner's
are good.
going to fit right in.
Yeah, baby.
By the way, the one take I have on the Giants is that I think that they're going to be. We're not going to do our predictions. Are we doing our predictions?
For the Giants?
Yeah.
No,
it's too early. Okay.
It's too early.
I think they're going to be the third wild card team.
And yet you still gave your prediction like a fucking child. Yeah.
So they had. I think they're by the single fact that their outfield defense is going to be better. They had the worst outfield defense. Harrison Bader is my new favorite player already. Jung-Ho Lee in right field is going to change everything. You have a center fielder that doesn't communicate, doesn't know how to play center field, and it made Elliot Ramos tentative. Anyway, they're going to win 5 extra games because they got a decent outfield.
You know what? You're the John Kerry of this podcast because you're such a flip-flopper, dude.
Not a flip-flopper.
You're a flip-flopper.
I'm all about deep pitching and defense.
Yeah.
And day drinking.
Last thing to wrap it up quickly here. Jonathan Kuminga's playing like Dominique Wilkins in Atlanta, and Kristaps Porzingis looks like the monkey in Outbreak.
That's a good one, Matt.
I mean, fuck.
Would you say one's balling, one's booting?
Yeah, man. You know, it's rough being a Warriors fan. That's all I got. I got nothing else.
Oh, somebody's got to lose their job over this.
You know what, though? Honestly, don't play Steph until the play-in, because we can't get into the lottery and we can't get out of the play-in. Just keep them on the shelf till the play-in, till that one game.
Right, and then use the $30 million Porzingis write-off in the offseason and reload for one last dance.
They gave Guy Santos a 2-year, $15 million contract.
Unbelievable. I wonder if he's going to be at the first game of the WBC. The U.S. Logan Webb pitching against Brazil.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Folks, stick around. Great conversation with Todd Traina. We'll be right back after this. PG-13. We were talking, little movies here. Was there a specific movie that started the PG-13 rating?
Well, it's more fun to open with an NC-17 discussion, but I will oblige you this if you want to talk about PG-13.
Wild Orchid.
Okay, that's a winner.
That's an NC-17, though.
It was indeed.
Yeah.
One of the first, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
No, my understanding is, and I'll drop the first name of the day. My understanding is from my good friend Chris Columbus, who's one of our greatest directors and a San Franciscan.
Yes, indeed.
And he and I were doing a movie together a number of years ago, and we were talking about the rating, and there's a certain number of F-bombs that really trigger the R rating.
Okay.
And I believe you're allowed possibly one F-bomb.
Okay.
And a
You
PG-13.
can say it here. You're on a podcast. We're not rated.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are allowed one fuck.
One fuck.
Yeah.
Per movie.
Okay.
I believe for PG-13. But Chris was telling me that it was Adventures in Babysitting, his movie.
Wow.
Interesting.
Where there was an F-bomb or two, and they wanted to give it an R rating. And so I think that is one of the movies that launched the PG-13 rating, where they kind of met in the middle.
Don't fuck with the lords of hell.
Don't fuck with the babysitter.
And the irony, of course, is you can mutilate, murder, destroy, torture, and whatever anybody in a PG or PG-13 movie. But God forbid there's two fucks.
I thought maybe because Adventures in Babysitting sounds like a porn, and that's
It does sound
that's why
a
it
little
became
bit. That's where Paul's
PG-13.
mind
Who was
goes.
the star?
Exactly.
The star in Adventures of Babysitting.
Wasn't it Christina Applegate?
Was it Elizabeth Shue?
I was going to go with Molly Ringwald.
I don't know.
You know what? Actually, I don't want
Tanner,
Chris
look
to
it up.
know that we don't remember exactly who was in the movie.
yeah.
Of course, we were children.
Gotcha.
He's got a couple other movies we know.
Okay,
a
here we
few
go.
others,
I think
small
we're
movies.
warm. Paul, we have a guest today.
We do indeed.
Get ready, Todd, because here it comes. Paul, our guest today is one of the most plugged-in people in San Francisco. He's a film producer whose projects have premiered at Cannes, Sundance, and South by Southwest. Since 2009, he served as board president of SFFILM, the nonprofit that runs the San Francisco International Film Festival. He grew up in the city, loves tennis. He even served on the board of the International Tennis Hall of Fame. The guy loves movies, believes in San Francisco as a home for great cinema, and the man is actively doing something about bringing more production back to the city. Please welcome Todd Traina.
Welcome, Todd.
Thank you so much.
You flew down here.
Look at
Beautifully done. I can go now.
Yeah,
but that was beautifully done.
Yeah.
a lot of guys they're like, wow, that's amazing. Todd hears that all the time, wherever he goes.
No, it's a
so
pro.
Todd and I are old friends, by the way. We've known each other a long time.
Yes, sir.
I went to college with his brother, Trevor, and I got a call many years ago. I won't age Todd because he works in the film business, saying, hey, my brother's moving out to L.A., and he's a great tennis player, and you guys should play tennis. So that was our meet
So
cute.
we're old tennis buddies, and then we became drinking buddies.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you really bond.
I mean, if I had $1 for every time Paul told me that's how he met somebody, I'd be rich. Yeah. Todd, how you feel being back in LA? I mean, I know
It's
you're here
amazing.
all the time.
So I lived here 18 years. I absolutely love LA. I miss LA. A lot of our great friends are here. Of course, the film industry's here.
Yep.
But as we know, the industry's changed a bit, which allows us to be in other cities now and develop projects from there.
Gotcha.
But I do miss it very much. Some of the best years of my life. I'm even a fan of some LA sports teams.
Oh, God.
But nothing compares to the San Francisco teams and the passion we have. And of course, when any LA team plays any SF team, of
course.
there is no LA team.
There is-
good.
That's
It
good.
is
That's
about,
good.
It is about San Francisco.
Made me nervous there.
No, don't worry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, so Todd, usually before we get into like the sort of the upbringing, your story. We like to do this new thing called Big Serve Question. We're coming out with our Big Serve. You called it the John Isner question.
I call it the Isner.
Well,
Or the Andy Roddick.
Can I think it's more of a Goran Ivanisevic.
Oh, that's good.
question.
It's a lefty.
I just want to say, as a good friend of John Isner, let's stick with Isner because he had the greatest and fastest
Gotcha.
serve.
Okay, we'll go with the
I
Isner
just have to
question.
draw the line there.
No, I love it. Entertainment guy, you're a tennis guy. Here's the first fun question. Your life is on the line. Okay, you've been taken hostage. Maybe it's like a Syrian
Matt
type
did not
situation.
run this by me, by the way.
You're going to die unless your horse wins one tennis match. You can pick any player in their prime. One match, life or death. Who you taking?
Nadal.
You're taking Nadal. You're a Nadal guy. I'm going to throw that to you.
Joker.
You're taking Joker. I'm going to be the wild card here. Prime Yvonne Lendl.
Wow, that's
I think that's a good call. I think it's a good call.
Okay.
But Lendl, remember, was surface dependent. So, it depends. If he's on grass, I wouldn't take that bet. I think Paul's onto something when you look at the numbers, because obviously Djokovic has won so much on every surface.
Yeah.
So has Nadal.
Right.
Yes.
So it'd have to
Nadal
be-
on clay for sure.
Surprised no one said Federer.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that I would say Nadal is because there are times where I've seen Joker check out of matches. He's dizzy, his chi hadn't been properly adjusted, his shrink in his box didn't look at him with the crowd. Something sets him off.
He was cheating on his
And
wife.
I'm not saying he's not the most accomplished of all time, but I've seen matches where it's like there's something going on. And I've seen Federer where it's sort of like his forehand isn't clicking or he's not feeling it, or it's like the guy's still, of course, incredible. He's won 20 majors.
Right.
But the reason I go on Nadal is not just on clay, it's that like the guy would rather be murdered and mutilated than lose a match. And so for me, he's a guy who like very rarely did he not show up.
Right. They talk about it. He
just
had
for
the
me as a
strongest
competitor,
will of
to
all
me,
these guys.
that's why
The
I
dirty
go
little
with him.
secret about Federer is he won a lot of those majors before those two guys showed up. There was this period post like Andy Roddick,
is
Leighton
true.
Hewitt period where Federer came in and he just mowed everything down, and then suddenly Nadal and Joker. They raised their game because of Federer, but I would take both of them over.
But there was
Federer
that
in a big
late
match.
Federer push in his career. I saw a thing on the Andy Roddick's pod where he had his agent on, and he was talking about how they were
Tony
trying to
Godsick?
Yeah, and they were trying to get that deal at Nike.
Right. Which didn't
Renegotiated.
come
but
to
he won
pass.
like 3 in a row.
Oh, the
and then-
Uniqlo deal.
And then ended up in Uniqlo. or
Right, and
something.
he was very irked about that, and basically they'd given Nike a number, and then Uniqlo came and beat it. Yeah. And Federer famously said in the press, well, I said what I was worth, and Uniqlo matched it, and it just goes to show I was right.
Yeah.
Right, there was a little bit of sour grapes in that to some degree. I don't blame him. He's Roger Federer.
He never won another major,
But
though.
on the other hand, Uniqlo was an emerging company that was willing. That's a great get for them.
Yeah.
They were willing to pay that price, and Nike had, hundreds of millions of dollars of deals with other big athletes. So it's
Do you know who they now have, Matt? I'm sure you know this.
Uniqlo.
Yeah.
I know.
Wait, is it? Hold on. Is
It's
it?
one of your
Somebody-
Is it one of my
it's your
girlfriends?
future
Somebody
wife. It's your
very
future wife.
elegant and someone I'm also a big fan
Yes.
of.
Wait. Okay. Well, you're talking about Raducanu.
Yeah, of course.
But I didn't know for a second.
Nice to know.
You'll appreciate
This was unrehearsed. I'm busy. We're already
I didn't
clicking.
know. I didn't know if he was talking about Potapova.
Well, Potapova. Now that she's Austrian, you can marry her.
There are a lot of great tennis players out there.
Do you know Raducanu's now with that Uniqlo deal? How you pronounce it? She's making more money off that than Sabalenka. So she's getting paid like she's number one in the world by those
That
guys.
might be why Zabalenka's doing more risque TikToks lately. I mean, I know. I just know. These
Wait a
things.
second.
I don't know. I don't know if that's
Yeah, no.
the deciding factor for closing clothing deals, but maybe.
You brought up a really good point about, or you brought up something about Joker. Early Joker, is he on the Mount Rushmore of greatest tennis villains of all time?
It's debatable because he isn't a classic villain like Kyrgios, per se, or Marcelo Rios,
Elina
or someone like
Stasi?
Elina Stasi.
Look it up. I'm gonna go back. Yeah.
And it's debatable, but he is certainly beloved in so many circles now, and I don't think you can be that beloved and still be considered a villain. I think that's the trick. It's like Mac was a villain, Connors was a villain, but they're beloved and they won people over, and people cheered for them, and they're icons now. Whereas there are certain people, who will always be nothing but a villain.
Right,
So
like,
I
like
think,
Kyrgios. Yeah.
But I think, as you said, early Djokovic, people didn't
was a
root for him
heel.
as much.
He was like pro wrestling.
Yeah,
Then
he
he
was
turned, he became a
kind
good
of
guy.
banging his chest a lot, and the parents and the
Right.
crowd,
Well,
and people were
and
not
nobody.
into it.
I mean, anytime he played Federer and Nadal, he was always.
They didn't root for him.
Nobody wanted him to win.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But I mean, all respect to Novak, he is incredibly accomplished, and from what I hear from my friends on the tour, he's really cool. He's nice to hang out with. He comes in the locker room. He'll have a beer with you. And as much as they love and respect Federer and Nadal, those guys are maybe a little more guarded.
Okay.
So that made me kind of appreciate Djokovic even more, just hearing that from friends of mine who really enjoy him.
Gotcha.
Just as an aside, and we'll get into Todd. I saw this talk with Nick Bollettieri, and somebody asked him, this was probably 15 years ago, they said, hey, who's the best tennis player ever? And he said, it will be Djokovic. He'll win the most majors. And he said, because he's the only tennis player he's ever seen with no weakness. Mm-hmm. And he's the first, and that's when we think people didn't love about him, right? He was a little bit of a robot, right? He didn't have the style points that the other guys had.
Okay,
He was
I
so
would argue
repeatable.
that I love Nick Bollettieri. He was an amazing guy. I spent some really good time with him. There was a period where we were talking about turning one of his books into a movie, and we spent some time together. Incredible for tennis. Great guy, great promoter. As Andre Agassi said in his book, the guy stepped in shit and it happened to be tennis. And that was, sort of a used car salesman. But look what he did. Look what he turned it into. Look at his academy. There's no denying that he's great. He got into the Hall of Fame, took him 3 tries.
Interesting.
There was some controversy there because he was actually lobbying for that, and you're not really supposed to campaign. It's not like
That's why
the
I haven't
Academy
gotten
Awards.
in, Matt, because I
Well,
keep
that explains
campaigning.
it.
Yeah.
Well, it was because of the cream too, and the HGH you're using.
I think
Well,
it's maybe all those cougars you're hanging out with. inside
Oh,
the
wait a
cafe.
second. I'm married now, Todd.
But anyway, Nick is incredible. I will say this.
Yeah.
Djokovic has one maybe slight weakness, which is his overhead. It's not even really
Listen
a
to
weakness,
this. This is a guy who knows
but
his
it,
tennis.
it wasn't, it's not considered like one of the great overheads.
Okay.
Federer and Nadal don't really have weaknesses either, per se.
Okay.
So, but I mean, I do think Nick was onto something. Novak is the most accomplished, and he really set his mind to it and made it happen.
So Nick got in. Did he get into the Hall of
Nick
Fame?
got into the Hall of Fame.
Were you there? Were you on the
I was there,
board?
and he gave an incredible
Okay.
speech. He was
Is
very
there-
funny.
Is there a guy now? I'm thinking like there's the Bonds and the Clemens deal, and I'm not saying because of like certain things, but who's the controversial guy
There are
to
several.
get in?
There are
like,
several.
At the top of that.
I mean, some people would say that like Yevgeny Kafelnikov should be in.
Okay.
He's Russian. He's won 2 majors. He was #1 in the world. He was also #1 in the world in doubles. Highly unusual to have. There's very few people who've done that. Mac's done it.
I thought
Edberg's done
winning
it.
one major got you in. That's not.
Well, it doesn't necessarily get you in. You have to. The criteria is you have to have at least one major, and been #1 in the world, or played on a winning Davis Cup team.
Oh, I love the
or
Davis Cup's part of it.
XYZ.
Okay.
XYZ. So you have to have at least won a major. That's your start. That's where the
Okay,
conversation
got it.
starts.
Okay, right.
There are people who don't agree with that. There are people on the voting committee at the Hall of Fame, some of whom I know. One I'm not going to name, but a very respected journalist
You
who
should definitely
said,
name them.
I will never vote for someone to get in the Hall of Fame who's only won one major. Now, that said, you've got
Andy Roddick,
who I think absolutely deserves to be there.
And he's not in.
He's in.
He's
had
in.
an
So he's in.
incredible career.
Okay.
Yeah.
Incredible career. Won, too many tournaments to count. Has done so much for
His name's
tennis.
not Kafelnikov. That sounds like a Bond villain.
But
I thought it was going to say Russian astronaut on that one.
you got Michael Chang, you've got Jannik Noah, you've got some guys in there who've won one major. The Kafelnikov issue, as I understand it, was he or wasn't he gambling? That there might be some controversy there.
okay.
He had been investigated for that, I think. I don't know.
Gotcha.
But most people agree this guy needs to be in. So there are some characters like that that are.
I mean, look, there have
controversial.
been rumors about Nadal. Maybe he was doing steroids back in the day. He was getting hurt a lot. And then Joker.
Yeah, sure.
Remember, he was always breaking down early in his career, and suddenly he didn't. They're like, is he doing a little blood doping? Is he like a French?
Well, everyone loves those videos where
Bicyclist.
he's being delivered the bottle of juice, Novak's
He's
juice.
yelling at his box
And what's
something,
what's
and then
in
they
there?
hide it with the
What's in the
towel,
box?
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
and they cover it with the hat. I know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, I remember when Agassi's book came out, which is incredible for those who don't know the book Open by Andre Agassi. So revealing, total page turner. Of course, I couldn't put it down. I met with him at the time and with a lot of people on his team about making a movie out of that book, and he was interested. He did the rounds in Hollywood, and there are reasons why he sort of backed off of it at that time. But, you know, he was very clear in saying, people came after me for using drugs and my name was dragged through the mud. I admitted to using something that ruined my career. It was meth. I dropped out of the top, you know, like, if you guys want to give me grief for using something that didn't enhance my performance, you're crazy.
Well, that's what made him more human, too.
Made him more human.
There were a lot of rumors about McEnroe and why he dropped out.
But remember when we had
for a bit that maybe a little bit of too much of, what do you call it, Matt?
What?
The stuff you put in your nose, Matt?
Oh, cocaine?
Yeah, cocaine. There you go. Ding, ding, ding.
Well,
everybody drinks.
Nasal Court?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. When we had Brad Gilbert here, we were casting.
Don't start with that. Todd reached out. He goes, "Way to steal my Christmas party guest for your podcast."
I did introduce Paul and Brad, and Paul has really enjoyed that relationship.
But we were trying to cast Open with him, like who's going to play Brad?
Who would play Brad?
But like, you know, do you think that'll ever be a movie? I mean, you know, we're just
I don't.
shot in the dark,
I mean, at the time, you know, Andre was open to the idea. CAA was repping him. He met with all kinds of producers and directors. There were some wild ideas thrown about his way, and I think ultimately, the word I got back through his team was that, like, he'd really thought about it and talked to his wife about it, and it's just a lot to put out there. They have kids. The kids were younger at that time.
I get it, yeah.
And did they really want and need a feature film retelling the story that he's already told in his book? So I you know, that was kind of the word at the time. It may have changed.
Right.
Now he's got Justin Gimelstob as his agent. Justin's great, doing a great job, and they have an entertainment company now.
But by the way, the tennis movie
I'll talk shit.
You can make real tennis movies now. My complaint always was that tennis movies were terrible because the tennis was terrible. But then you have a movie like Challengers or the Serena, you know, the Williams sisters movie. Tennis actually looks like tennis.
Okay, that's a good topic. So King Richard, I think, worked on a lot of levels. I know the filmmaker pretty well. You know, there wasn't a ton of tennis. It was a great narrative story about this family, and the tennis was cool, but Challengers for me hinged so much around that match and those points, and it did still look a little bit fake to me.
We've talked about that, the CGI
I didn't
forehands.
I think it's very hard to show tennis well on film.
But I thought that with Challengers, that actually was a very sort of pop sensibility that actually drew a lot of people in that didn't know tennis. The way they had shot that, I was like, oh, this is very cool. There was like kind of a music video element to it.
Yeah, it's like Tommy Paul with his shirt off on TikTok.
True.
Yeah.
My question would be like, why has tennis never had its Rocky or Moneyball? Because the sport translates so perfectly to cinema, I would think, you know?
I mean, I just don't think I've ever seen a tennis match on film look like what you see when you turn on Tennis Channel or ESPN. It's riveting, right?
Yep.
The camera work is so amazing now, what you can see, all the angles. So I'd like to see that translate. I'd like to see them properly shoot a tennis match. Part of the issue is you don't have actors who can quite play that level. And I think that's the problem.
That's why I got into acting, Matt. Was
that it, Paul?
It didn't work, but I'm like, hey.
Paul was going to be the guy.
Yeah, I was
they
gonna
were
be the
going to
guy.
cast you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's the real challenge is finding, you know, players who can act, who can actually play. That's the challenge there. But I think to your point, back to your question, you've also got to have the right narrative. And the King Richard was a great story. And, you know, for years, people have been trying to get the Arthur Ashe story going.
Right.
The rights to that have been, you know, back and forth all over the place. Different people have had the rights. Different people have developed scripts. I still would love to see that made because it's such an interesting human story. Everything he did, what he did for tennis, what he accomplished. That might be more of like a, you know, a different type of biopic. It might end up looking more like an Ali or something. Sure. But like, I'd also love to see like a Rudy or a, you know, like something that's really, there was a book about, I think it was called The Greatest Game Ever Played or The Greatest, it was about, remember that Olympics tennis match during World War II where
Oh,
Hitler was
it
in
was
the
the Bill
stands.
Tilden against
Bill Tilden against
who
Baron
also was gay. Yeah,
and there's all
that
this,
book's
like,
been developed
drama
a few
about this
times.
match.
Yeah, as a movie,
Could be an interesting movie.
It would be a great movie. I wish
can I
I'm going to look up the name.
Can I throw something out there for an idea for a tennis movie? And I think Tanner will agree with me. The Anna Kournikova story.
Well, I mean,
is that
really a tennis movie, or would that just be like an extended OnlyFans?
It would be an extended OnlyFans movie. I mean, you know, when I directed you, Paul, we should have made your character an ex-tennis pro. You know, who was.
I love that idea.
We should have done that. I don't know why we didn't think that. You could find it.
But I would love to see
the triumph and the tragedy.
Is that what's called? The Triumph and the Tragedy. Yeah. Amazing. I think that would be a cool story.
That may be wrong. Let me think of it. Anyway, so but I know the book.
But
we're
ripe
about.
for a good tennis movie. There is another type of tennis movie that I'm working on that was just brought to me, which I'm really excited about, and it is the true story of this young Rwandan girl whose family was murdered in her village, and she barely escaped, and she ran and hid and witnessed the murder of her family and ended up in an orphanage. She was like 8 years old. Her name is Joseline Umalisa, and she was catatonic. You know, she went through so much. She didn't speak, barely spoke, I think, for years. And as a young teenager, someone gave her a tennis racket, and she had never seen tennis, didn't know what it was, and she I guess, was led to a nearby court and kind of learned to play and found her thing. It really resonated with her. She started to talk again. She found joy. She loved it, and she became the Rwandan national champion in a matter of very few years, and now teaches and runs the Rwandan Tennis Federation. And so someone gave me her story, and we are developing the screenplay now, and I think it's amazing. I would just love to do this movie.
Paul, it's Good Will Hunting, but tennis.
It is.
In Rwanda. Yeah.
I'm just thinking
Goodwill
about where's my
tennis.
part in this. That's all I was thinking.
That's all
Paul
you're
just
always
wants
thinking
to
about.
That's all he cares about.
But that sounds great.
I
And
lost him. It's too nice for Paul. It's not. It's not.
Anyway, that sounds amazing, and I more tennis movies. So I do think it's. I think there's the time is right where it's going to start. You're going to start seeing more of them. So.
Let's jam into a couple other things. Like currently, you know, we're heading down. I know I'm heading down to Indian Wells for the tournament tomorrow. You're heading down next week, and I think
that's why we want. There are many reasons we want to talk. And I'm like, let's do a little bit of a fifth major.
Is it the fifth
preview.
major? I mean,
it's debatable. It was.
Sure.
It was.
Yeah.
And some people might say Miami.
Okay.
And now I think some people are probably saying Cincinnati. Which is owned by Emma Navarro's dad, Ben Navarro, and he's really developed that tournament.
I knew her dad.
Players are saying
rich.
that it's incredible, that the level jump that has happened there in the last couple of years is off the charts. The food is amazing. The way they treat the players is amazing. The facilities are amazing. So Larry Ellison maybe is going to get a run for his money. But personally, of course, I love Palm Desert. I think it's a huge tournament. Yeah. It's a beautiful venue. Players are accessible. I think it's incredible.
Paul, we always talk about this with people with tennis is, you know, there's the big, you know, basically it's a two-man race these days. Is there anybody that's going to break through on the American side this year? Do you think one of these guys can finally kind of dip their toe into it?
I really can't say.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, some people would say Ben Shelton. I don't know. I think to maintain that level that Alcaraz and Sinner have at all four majors and all of the Masters Series events, you know, it's rare. You rarely see anyone else win that much. You know, there's guys coming up who aren't American.
Sure.
There's João Fonseca, who a lot of people have, you know, big expectations for. There's Jakub Mensik.
Yeah.
There's people who have big game.
Yeah.
You know, Draper is healthy again, so maybe he's the defending champion at Indian Wells. Maybe he's someone who could break through, but I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like the train's left on Tiafoe.
I think we might see somebody new. Yeah, Tiafoe, I think, is struggling to come back to his top 10 form. He's a lot more serious now. He's got a new coach.
Okay.
And he seems much more focused. So, you know, maybe, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see somebody new in the next couple of years come through.
Got it.
I mean,
I don't know.
So the USTA just hired this, what's his name, Tilly, the guy from the Australian Open,
Tiley from Australia,
and so for a bunch of different reasons, and I keep reading articles. There was an article in the Athletic last week about how tennis is broken and how to fix it. If you were the head of like the commissioner of world tennis, what would you do to improve or expand the game?
You just said it right there. Brad Gilbert will be the first one to tell you tennis needs a commissioner.
Oh,
we need someone of that kind of role, and we don't really have that. And I also think, there was that division between the ATP tour or the ATP Players Council and then the Professional Tennis Players Association,
that
which
Djokovic was heading up,
was trying to get going. And so there is a division there where some players don't feel that the ATP represents the wants and desires of all players. And then you've got a lot of division, which Federer's been willing to throw his feet in the fire over this, about the scheduling. Some players think that there's got to be more of an off season. You got to take at least 2 months off. It's not fair. It's not fair to the players. They don't get time to heal and train. And then others say, well, wait a minute. We need those tournaments. Yeah, great. For you guys who are top 20, top 30, cry me a river. I need to play in December. I need to play in January. I need the points. I need to survive.
Right.
So I think, the long answer is there has to be some sort of unity and some sort of decision-making that's cohesive, because it seems like players are really split on how the tour should look.
I'm still mad at ESPN for cutting ties with him, although they did just bring on Andy Roddick. What are you an Andy Roddick fan?
Yeah, love Andy. I love his podcast. I was, been lucky enough to meet him at a couple Hall of Fame things, and he's a riot and he's outspoken. I do, I think it was wrong for ESPN to cut ties with Brad specifically, because they don't have anyone else on there who's coached 3 number ones. They don't have anyone
because Cahill's gone also. They lost both of the guys who know most about tennis.
Darren is still working with them on a limited basis.
Because he follows Sinner to the majors, so they can put him on, kind of from the
Darren,
sideline,
thank goodness,
coaching box.
you have Darren, who's a voice, who's one of the greatest coaches around. But it does make me sad that Brad's not there. But he's doing more and more stuff with Tennis Channel, which is great. Good. He's on their podcast. He's going to be on The Desk a couple times through Indian Wells.
Oh, that's great.
So he's happy.
I read the Tennis Channel. They've got a new CEO, and they're trying to figure out. And they lost the French Open rights, so they're really doubling down on Indian Wells specifically and treating it like the 5th major. And that's interesting. I didn't know they brought Brad on. That's a friend of the pod. We like Brad Gilbert.
You do. No, you're in love.
I am kind of
in love with Brad. I didn't know we were going there.
I do.
Yeah, it's a little weird, and then I have to stand over here and do whatever.
It's okay.
I do.
We all have our tennis player crushes.
I was always looking for love at one of Todd's great parties. I just didn't think it would be with a 60-year-old
tennis god.
Tennis god from Piedmont. Yeah, but I'll take what I can get.
Coaches ever.
Yeah.
It's from San Francisco, right? Born and raised. Where'd you go to high school?
San Francisco University High School.
Oh, you went to university. I went to SI.
You went to SI?
Yeah, SI guy. Yeah.
Right.
SFFILM, and you guys just did. I saw in the news like Dan Lurie, the incentives. I'm doing a pivot.
Yeah.
Okay, good pivot. I mean,
it's kind of. It seems like a long time coming. When you read the article, you're like,
yes. So we'll pivot. Yeah. We did talk about film a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
We talked about tennis films, but let's talk about San Francisco film and local film. So SFFILM was formerly known as the San Francisco Film Society.
Right.
We are the longest running festival in the Americas. We're about to have our 69th film festival in April. And over the years, that organization has morphed to the point where we're doing year-round programming. We have films in schools. We have summer camps. We have fiscal sponsorships. We have artist in residence programs. We do programming all the time. We have a awards night in the winter. We have a doc film fest in the fall. So we do a lot of stuff. We program a lot of stuff. We reach 10,000 students a year. There's a huge educational component to what we do. So I'm very proud of SFFILM. We were also kind of I was approached to some degree by the mayor, who we love. Big shout out to Daniel
Also
Lurie.
met at this year's Christmas party.
Big shout out to
I had
Daniel
a 10
Lurie.
second conversation where I said, "You're doing a great job," and he looked at me right in the eye and he said, "Thank you."
He won the Beat LA Man of the Year
Yeah. I tried to give him this award, and he thought it was a pipe bomb.
There's a lot of talk about my Christmas party on this podcast. It's making me a little bit uncomfortable. I didn't know this was the Beat Christmas podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get to it. Right. So, yes.
Hey, don't forget, by the way, just as a side, we are the Beat LA podcast. We want to prove right now that San Francisco is eating LA's lunch or drinking its milkshake when it comes to film. It's right.
Is that what you want to do? Okay.
I don't know if I would say milkshake.
Okay.
It's drinking LA's something.
Good.
Right. Let's be
doing
clear.
LA's blow.
I just pulled a Harris. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
LA is the film capital of the world.
All right.
Period.
Yeah,
okay. Studios are here. You know, everything still kind of happens out of here, at least from like the genesis. Where LA's losing is lots of productions are leaving. Right. So everybody's shooting in other states because they're better incentives and it's cheaper. And the same thing happened to San Francisco many, many years ago. One of the worst things that happened is just as rents increased and we lost a lot of artists because artists can't afford to live there anymore. Yeah. We lost the Bammies. I mean, how can you not have the Bammies?
Bammies, that's an amazing
the Bay
reference.
Area Music Awards.
Of course.
We had an incredible music scene born out of San Francisco. We always have had an incredible music scene. We've had
Night Ranger, Greg Kinn.
I wasn't going to say Night Ranger first. I mean, I was thinking of some other bands ahead of like Janis Joplin and, you know, a band called the Grateful Dead and Jefferson Airplane. And, you know,
when you said Bammies, I went to like
Huey
high school
Lewis.
and trying to get laid.
But okay, Night Ranger. And so, but, you know, we did see a lot of artists leave, and that includes filmmakers. And we also lost crew. So Nash Bridges was great for San Francisco. Crews were living there. Things were shooting there. And when Nash Bridges wasn't in production, it was fabulous for independent filmmakers because we could then use those crews. And those crews could work throughout the year because there'd be independent film shooting. So the, you know, cost of living and things like that it's been really hard. We've lost a lot of people from the Bay Area. And so even I must admit, as an independent film producer, I don't shoot in San Francisco very much because the rebates are better. I just shot a movie in New Jersey, got a 40% rebate, brought crews down from New York. So in addition to, you know, improving the film incentives in San Francisco, what we also need is, you know, we need sound stages. We need crews. We need to make deals for crews. We need hotels to play along. We need parking permits. We need the unions to understand and support what we're doing. So the mayor's office basically said, can we put together an event? Can we get the local film community together and let's solve these problems? So in January, a number of filmmaker friends and I got together with the help of Film SF, which is the governing body that does all of the permitting and the locations, and it is what's known as the Film Commission, right, which is different than SFFILM, but they're wonderful. They've been doing a great job, and they, backing Raphael Mandelman, who was the head of the Board of Supervisors, sponsored this wonderful legislation that the mayor just signed, which is great new film incentives in San Francisco, because you know you have citywide incentives and you have state incentives because there are California incentives. So San Francisco is now super competitive with other cities when it comes to those incentives.
That's great because people, you know, usually would just take a B-roll shot of San Francisco and then go to Vancouver and shoot the rest. And still do that. But you, so what are they doing? I remember back in the day, it was Treasure Island, and I remember What Dreams May Come was shooting on there. When you're talking about sound stages, is that an idea?
That's a place. Yeah, people have been looking. That's a place people have been looking. But you know, there's a lot of empty open space in South of Market. In the Dog Patch, there are definitely venues that would work.
Sure.
It's just about crunching the numbers and convincing the investors, like, there's a sustainable 10-year or 20-year model here. You know, this is worth the investment. Right. And that's kind of the next thing we're trying to crack. But we are lucky enough to have a mayor who's really motivated by this and in support of this, came to the event, spoke about it. So we all went to have him sign the legislation a couple weeks ago, and it's been great for the city.
How does it compare to L.A., to trying to shoot in L.A. right now?
It's a little bit apples and oranges. It's a better incentive for sure, citywide. But LA, you've got grip trucks.
Right, you've got all the infrastructure,
you've got equipment,
right.
you've got infrastructure.
But it is cheaper based on what just was signed, the legislation you guys have been working on. If you had those things, if you had the infrastructure, it's actually the incentives are better in San Francisco.
They are. They're super competitive with any citywide incentive you looked at in this nation.
As an independent filmmaker myself, though, I always think like, are these incentives built for studios, or do they help the indie filmmaker in a sense? You know,
honestly, both. Both, because there's like there's levels to it where you qualify at different levels. It depends what your budget is, and then that helps determine kind of what perks you get. So on a sliding scale, it helps both.
I just think it's cool that it's not only something being done, but it's just being talked about. I think there's been like this black hole of sort of the arts in the city a little bit through a couple of regimes, and now some of the really fun things are being talked about again to make the city alive. For
sure. And at SFFILM, what we do is we really support filmmakers, and we give grants, and we showcase films, and we are essentially giving a gift to the film lovers of San Francisco. Our festival is this beautiful wrapped package with a bow on it that says, we love this city and we appreciate all the film lovers in this city, and we're really proud of this festival and what we present. But what we don't do at SFFILM is we're not saying you have to shoot your movie in San Francisco. That's not our place to say. Right. So I think it's an interesting problem to solve where we all have to work together, because we really would like to see more movies shot in San Francisco. But we also understand in LA, people are used to it. In SF, you walk out, someone on the bicycle coalition bumps into a grip truck and then sues them and says, what is this bastard doing in my lane? F you people, F you fascists. And we're screwed. It's all over. So it's the city of 1,000 grievances. People aren't that stoked on having film production up there.
It's crazy because, so many films have been shot up there. I was going through a list here from Bullet to Dirty Harry, The Conversation, The Rock, on and on. I mean, Pack Heights, Basic Instinct.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
That you could just see some Pacific Heights people being like, you know what are you doing on my block? But
when was the last movie of note that was shot up there?
Zodiac?
No, there's been movies since then.
Sure,
but it's an interesting question. It's like, what movies have really showcased the city where the city is a character? And I think that's the calling card. That's kind of what we're saying to people is like, okay, sure, you could shoot in Albuquerque, you can shoot in Ann Arbor, but San Francisco you can use as a character in your movie.
I mean, The Game, when he falls through the palace ceiling, that's the best.
And you said what Man on the Inside, the Ted Danson shows, being shot up there?
I've actually been helping them and working with those guys. Those are wonderful producers. Thank you for bringing that up. And so Mike Schur and Morgan Sackett are the producers on that show.
I know Morgan. Shout out to Morgan. I've worked with Morgan. He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
So Veep and Parks and Rec and Hacks and so many shows, hit shows. And Man on the Inside with Ted Danson is about to start their 3rd season. The first season they shot a fair amount there. The second season they didn't really shoot in San Francisco. So this has been great to hear that they're bringing it back. I've been helpful in arranging some locations or some potential ideas for them, but they're just wonderful guys. They love the city, and it's really good for us because it's hard to imagine a TV show set in San Francisco that isn't at least shooting a good chunk there. So I'm really happy.
Full
about
House.
It. It's a great show. It's funny and sentimental.
Full
House.
Yeah. But that was your point. They just shot the Painted Ladies. And then they
I want to see another 48 hours type film shot there.
I've been in prison for 3 years. My dick gets hard after wind blows.
All right, that's it. We're going to come up.
Let's just bring back Mork and Mindy.
That's a great idea.
But Streets of San Francisco, that's what I'd like to see.
That would be great. See, this is often, Todd, we turn these things into pitch meetings. So
we really do.
Pitch.
We'll pitch. Well,
what do you want to see?
Well, we might wait till you're off.
Paul wants to see an Anna Kournikova biopic.
I don't want anyone to
San Francisco.
I don't want anyone to steal our idea. So maybe we'll do it off camera.
Right.
But,
here's a question.
Yes,
this is a self.
She never won anything. That's why they didn't make a movie about her. If Anna Kournikova had won a single title, they could have made the movie.
I bumped into her at Barney's.
Why is it going? It always goes back to Anna Kournikova. You bumped into her at Barney's.
You brought it up,
Now we're getting to the good stuff here.
All right.
Do festivals still matter? I know it's like the
Yes,
$60,000 question.
They do. I mean, maybe not quite as much as they used to, especially on the acquisition side. So obviously we're seeing now movies that are premiering at Cannes and Sundance and they aren't getting picked up, right?
Yeah.
And 20 years ago, it was like 75% of movies got picked up that went to Sundance, and now it's 20, 30%. So from an acquisitions perspective, maybe they've lost their luster a little bit, but it's still important to go do those kind of victory laps, get your laurels, win your awards. And when you're positioning your film, certain buyers still want to see, hey, this tracked in festivals. You get reviews, right? You're legitimized.
Right.
And so, it depends on the genre.
I think it's more necessary than ever just as a platform because of the way the state of the industry is now.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, genre dependent. Like if you're making a thriller for Tubi, of course you don't care about going to a festival,
right.
Or like a micro drama, right? Have you seen these now?
Right.
You got these like 90-second and 2-minute micro dramas, and they're not, you're not going to. There's not a micro drama film festival.
I mean,
for most movies, yes.
Everybody down here is talking about how the industry's dying, and obviously streaming has kind of swallowed everything up. As an independent filmmaker, independent producer, how do you feel that the world has changed for good and bad? I mean, are you busy as ever? Do you think the market's? Do you think the industry's dying? What do you think?
It's hard to say. I mean, it's hard to see what will happen with AI. Certainly, there is a future with AI. Certainly, while it's scary, especially for actors to be potentially replaced, it's maybe not as scary for writers and creators. If you think about like tech leaders, innovators, AI companies, people in AI, they're facilitators. They're not creators, right? They're giving us an opportunity. They're licensing people who are really good at stuff and they're putting it out on their platform. So you still need content creators. You still need writers. And I thought it was interesting to see that a lot of companies are hiring people, not with technology majors or coders, but they're hiring journalists and they're hiring writers. So I do think that kind of bodes well for us for the future. I have noticed that 5-6 years ago, agents and buyers and investors and people in the industry were saying, give me stuff that's got more. We want more. We want full frontal. We want, we want like every type of, like push the envelope, more, more death, more trauma, more. Yeah. And in the last few years, I'm hearing you need less. And the reason is because a lot of the Gen Z viewers are on their phones the whole time, right? And they get lost, and it's actually too complicated. Right. I don't think they're going to make Memento, or what was the DiCaprio movie that was so complicated?
The one with Mark Ruffalo.
Inception.
Inception.
It's just like, who's going to follow that? Who's Gen Z right now? There's no they're not incepting. There was
that thing with the rip with Damon and Affleck, and they were talking about their deal with Netflix, how they had to reiterate the premise 4 times in the top half of the film.
Also, you see with Bond. Now that Bond is part of Amazon, the algorithm won't let you find a movie with a gun in it. So all of the Bond movie posters had to be changed, so he's not holding a gun anymore. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of stuff like that. Obviously, that's a different type of conversation, which is what is happening to Hollywood and some of the clamp down that's been happening. A lot of it is political, and a lot of it, frankly, is sad. Yeah. But I think just as far as like content, I think it's interesting how we're kind of going back to this like tell a basic story, have a great looking cast, tell a story that Gen Z will follow.
I have a fun thing to ask you, and this deals with Paul, something I've been dealing with Paul with for a long time as artists.
His Tourette's?
He's looking for a new podcast partner. Are you going to break up with me on the...
No, it's a half-serious idea because, you run a film festival. And, a lot of people don't go to movie theaters anymore. They stream stuff at home, and they watch things on their phone. But I have a theory. The last place people actually sit down and watch a movie from start to finish is an airplane. Everyone's locked in. So here's my pitch for the San Francisco Film Festival, a category for best films to watch at 35,000 feet. And you could do a screening on a plane parked on a tarmac. Everyone's in their seats watching. It's a little dystopian, but Yeah, what do you think about that? The best airplane movie.
I don't know. I mean, my mind just automatically goes to the Mile High Film Festival. Is really, I think, what we've got to. I think that's where you're going with this. Really,
it's 100%. All I could think of was like Pan Am and like Raducanu and a stewardess.
It's the Mile High Club Film Festival, and there really aren't any films. It doesn't matter. It's really,
got it.
You just
it was
get
all
up there and let's just you make your own movie. It's
Gotcha.
a lot of handheld stuff.
Yeah.
I will admit that even on airplanes, I sometimes don't finish the movie. I get the ADD starts raging, and I switch over and I watch a show or I listen to music. So you can't, the idea of being like held captive is not. I think it's really the movie theater is the only place, unless you walk out or you're checking your phone. It's really still the last place where you see a movie uninterrupted from start to finish.
1,000%. It's like on a plane, I'll see the Meg. That's the only place I'll see like Jason Statham fight a giant shark is on a plane. That's like the perfect plane movie.
My God. It's a megalodon. He's kidding, right?
It is a good plane movie.
But
no, I've seen great movies on planes. But the days of like, for those who are too young to remember this, but we used to just have one movie on the plane, and there was a screen, and the entire cabin watched it, and there'd be grown men weeping, behind you because it was Kramer versus Kramer in terms of endearment or whatever.
Beaches.
So that was
Beaches on a flight to Hawaii.
Experience.
I like to talk about myself. So I worked at the Standards and Practice Department of Disney, and our job was to make movies palatable for airplanes. So we had to go through this thing, and we had to ADR all this stuff in so that everybody could watch the same movie. It was a really weird job, but
you should see if they're still doing that job, because you're perfect for that work at home job.
We suggest you can say fuck here, so we suggest you say friggin'. Whatever. Yeah.
Understood.
This will be a little bit of our Oscars preview pod.
Right.
I want to hit that before we go. It's coming up. This Paul's a Sinners guy. I think this is going to. I'm actually going to watch this. I'm being
proven correct, by the way.
Well, no. I'm going to just okay.
But Oscars haven't happened yet. But yes, it has started to win awards.
It has started to win awards. I feel like this race, there's about 5 films that could they duke it out. Do you have what are your favorite? Some of your best films this Oscar race. Do you have are you team something?
Not really.
Okay.
And I wish I could say that I was. It's kind of embarrassing, but there hasn't for me been a movie that's just grabbed me where I just feel like, God, this has got to win everything. I mean, I will say that, the female lead performance in Hamnet is incredible.
For sure.
And she will probably win, and she probably should win.
Rose Byrne was great too,
and If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I mean, there've been incredible performances. So I'm more, struck by performances. I thought that Sean Penn was great in one battle after another, even though I thought that was, to be honest, kind of a silly movie that felt even a bit dated to me. Like maybe 15 years ago it would have been cool, but it felt sort of like a Guy Ritchie, Tarantino ripoff. I live for Paul Thomas Anderson. I just am such a fan of his.
Well, I'm a team Sentimental Value guy. I'd love to see Stellan Skarsgård.
That was great, and he was fantastic. And the actress who played his daughters were fantastic. I thought it was just beautifully done.
Yeah.
But I don't have a particular favorite or a dark horse pick. But it is interesting how that has changed. If you look at the Oscars 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they were very different movies, and they do tend to favor now kind of the indie or edgy or more artistic movies, I think.
Well, that's why I think Sinners is gonna sweep it, and I think
Sinners is like the mainstream movie.
Exactly, because it's the mainstream movie of the bunch, and it kind of hits all of the, it hits all the buttons, right? It basically, because it's about race in America, but doesn't tell that story in a way that alienates people. Anyway, it's a bunch of different genres.
Yeah,
I just think it checks a lot of boxes.
Performances
in a way,
are cool.
Like I'm not surprised that Shyamalan Ding Dong didn't win the Screen Actor thing, because first of all, I didn't think his performance was that great anyway. But anytime he played twins, remember, Michael B. Jordan played twins. Remember, it used to be.
It's amazing. He's incredible.
By the way, I'm amazed they even let him play twins, because now they're like, you can't play twins unless you're actually a twin.
Yes.
Right? Like Daniel Day-Lewis could never win My Left Foot because they'd have to get a guy who actually
had a right foot,
who only had a left foot to be.
So it's kind of like the Ben Stiller thing in Tropic Thunder. It's where you're going with it a little bit. Yeah. Okay, I got it. I got you.
Anyway, so we do need to get anything you want to promote, anything you'd like to tell the world.
I mean,
Todd?
I would say that I'm excited about the 69th annual San Francisco International Film Festival, which launches April 24th, and we go until May 4th. Mm-hmm. And our closing night on May 4th, our closing night film is a special screening of a little indie film called The Empire Strikes Back, which was made by a guy called George Lucas. You should look him up.
Hear about him.
And then one of the actors, Anthony Daniels, who played C-3PO, will be there, and we're doing May the 4th on May the 4th.
That's amazing.
May it be with you. And so we're excited about that. And our centerpiece film has been announced, which is called I Love Boosters, which is Boots Riley's next movie.
Yeah.
He did Sorry to Bother You. Sure. And so we're really excited to do a big screening of that as our centerpiece film.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's listening, it's a great festival. Unfortunately, it's like sometimes it's the only reason why I go to certain venues is when that's happening, like the Castro Theater. And I think I saw Love Brooklyn. Was that last year? Was there, I think?
I don't know if we did that last year or not, but the Castro's reopened. As you know, it's been all redone, and that's where we are screening Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, that's awesome. Paul likes to ask this question, so I'm going to let Paul ask this question.
Who plays you in the movie, Todd?
In the Todd Traina movie.
I mean, Yoda? Is he still acting? Does he have an agent?
You know,
did he
Frank
retire?
Oz is still alive.
Did he retire?
Yeah,
you know, I got one.
I really
as I'm looking at Todd for this here, I'm thinking we'll get Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany.
Oh my God, that's
it.
the nicest compliment
He's got
ever.
a much better hairline than Paul.
I don't think so. You should see my hairline.
They've both been with Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I don't know if that's true. Yeah. But isn't Paul Bettany married to Jennifer Connelly?
I think he is.
I think he is.
Okay, good. So, by the way, and you have a charity. I know you want to talk about them. We talked in the green room earlier. Do you want to?
Well, we were talking earlier about kind of the Tennis Hall of Fame. Yeah. We know there's a big induction of a little-known player, Roger Federer, happening there in August. But there is a program that the Hall of Fame has called Team Fame, and in San Francisco, there's a group called Youth Tennis Advantage, and those are both chapters of something called National Junior Tennis and Learning, or NJTL, which was started by Arthur Ashe and I think Charlie Passerelle as well. But Arthur Ashe's dream was to tutor kids, get rackets in the hands of underprivileged or at-risk youth, teach them tennis after school, and tutor them in classes. And so I am passionate about that organization. And people should learn more about what NJTL is. But in San Francisco, the chapter is called Youth Tennis Advantage. It's a great organization.
Very cool.
Todd's a better person than we are. He actually does a nice thing for people.
I do nice things for people.
Yeah.
And on that note.
But if you really want to waste time, open an old tennis magazine, like anything in the last 30 years, and read me the top 100 players, and just read their last name, man or woman, and I'll tell you their first name and the country they're from. We'll do that on the next podcast.
We'll definitely do that.
You're coming back for that.
I bet you that I can name more players than anyone alive.
That's just like a Stump the Schwab type thing. I'd like to go toe-to-toe.
I love movies, but where the autism really is in full force is my memorizing tennis stats.
That's fucking great.
Let's do it.
Let's try it.
Let's do it
next
when we
podcast.
do a live feed.
Okay, that's what we call it. See, Todd, you just combined tennis and your storytelling movie background because you just created a cliffhanger.
And
you just created a sequel.
Giving you a dare.
You created a sequel.
All right.
Todd, thanks for coming on, and everyone go to the theater, see a movie.
Let's go see a movie and come to the film festival.
Thanks, Todd. That was great, man. Thank you.
All right, folks, we're back.
And we're back!
Paula, I'm going to say this again. What a great guy. You brought in a great guest. I mean, Todd was...
You seem surprised, Matt.
No, I'm not surprised. And I don't want you to put words in my mouth.
Yeah.
I will say this. I was very impressed by Todd. And just great insight. Just a fun guy.
Yeah, again, Todd, very smart guy, good tennis player, and it lives in a cool world where he's meeting everybody I want. I may take over his body and just try to be on all those boards and stuff.
No, I know you love you. If there's a man that needs to be on more boards,
that's for
you.
Sure.
I just like how he picked up on the beats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As an actor, and he just was on it. And I'm thinking, if something ever happened to you, I would want Todd to sit in your place because I think I had good chemistry with Todd.
I felt the chemistry.
The chemistry was there.
I almost Tanner actually got slightly red faced at one point with the chemistry going on with you guys.
With me
I
there.
was very flush.
Yeah, very. So there was a story. Can I tell a quick tennis story that I didn't tell, and then we'll get to
I don't
this?
think I have a choice here, but go. Yeah.
So what I meant to tell, there was a lot of Raducanu talk, right?
Yeah.
And I should have brought this up, but I didn't want to take over. I want to let our guest speak. So I know a guy who is in Andrei Rublev's camp, believe it or not, and he was at a coffee. Maybe I've told the story in the pod. If I have, we can cut this. He was at a coffee shop during Wimbledon, ran into Nick Kyrgios, and he said, "Hey Nick, who do you think is going to be better, Sinner or Alcaraz?" And he said, Sinner, because Alcaraz likes the girls too much. And then the next thing we knew, he was playing mixed doubles with Raducanu.
Yet he's still winning.
I think she could be Black Widow, though. I think she could be Yoko Ono or whatever analogy you want for why Alcaraz's career goes in the toilet. If he ever gets involved with Raducanu, that's going to be the game changer. That's when an American might be able to win a major.
You have just gone into like conspiracy theory, Paul, here. I mean, that's crazy.
I think there's somebody could maybe hire, could make that happen.
Listen, I know like podcasts are a place where no one gets canceled, but coming off of the Eileen Gu, and now you're calling Emma Raducanu the Yoko Ono of tennis potentially. Is I like it. I like it.
But I didn't, and I understand Yoko Ono is Japanese and Raducanu is half. That was not about. This is not about race.
It is now.
It's just about. It's now. I'm being red faced. It's just about the fact that women sometimes will throw these guys off. Right? They're in routines.
Hey, listen, we've all been there.
Yeah.
I remember.
We've all seen Bull Durham.
Right? I was thrown off for a year and a half.
Remember when Uniqlo Lush had to exactly? Or Uniqlo Lush had to go celibate and wear the thong.
Yeah.
And Susan Sarandon got very horny, and so that's what that could happen to Alcaraz.
I mean, yeah. No, I agree. I agree very much so. They're making a Beatles movie.
I know. You know who's directing it?
Who's
Sam Mendes.
Mendes.
And they're doing one per guy or something?
I know that who they cast as Yoko Ono is the lead actress who won the Emmy for Shogun. Big fan of hers. She's playing Yoko. I don't know who they got to play Lennon, though. Do you know?
Can't remember. We'll look it up.
I think that guy Jacob Elordi is playing one of the Beatles.
I think he might be.
He might be.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Paul, you got any pet peeves before we wrap this up? Anything knocking you down, hitting you in the face?
Fuck, man, I had a pet peeve, and now I'm so distracted by the fact that you're going to take Todd as your partner, and I'm going to get canceled for what I just said. Let me think about it. You have a pet peeve. And
I'm thinking back about, I'm jumping back to the Giants real quick. Do you know Patrick Bailey has been right on every umpire challenge in the spring?
Everybody talks about the ABS thing being a problem, but if you know it's a strike or not, that your catcher can be a big
Patrick
advantage.
Bailey's very much a beautiful mind.
Yeah.
When it comes to that stuff. I don't really have, listen, when things happen to me in the world, I very much feel like a get off my lawn guy these days. Like my pet peeves are out of control. I'm angry all the time. I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
Like I say to myself, don't be that guy. Don't be that angry guy.
You're not that
but
guy,
there's a lot of things today, like, the old standby Mount Rushmore pet peeve. People are still talking on their speakerphones in public while you're sitting next to them. Like there should be a constitutional amendment outlawing the speakerphone in public.
I couldn't agree more, except that I'm that guy. I always talk on my speakerphone in the public.
You're that guy, pal. Trust me. You're that guy.
God damn it.
But I try to stay away from people.
Todd's looking real good right about now.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to get canceled again. Can I do my pet peeve? This is not a political statement. By the way, but lots of crazy, terrible shit's happening in the world right now. This is your escape, America and the world. Listen to the Beat LA podcast. This is just at the current state of the world. I'm not picking a side, but it bummed me out that we live in a world where I could not enjoy the U.S. hockey team winning the first gold, winning the gold medal, and memories of 1980 and all that when I was a kid, without it immediately becoming about politics in our division. And that bummed me out.
Yeah.
Again, not taking a side on it. I just wanted to marinate in something that might bring us together, and even somehow that didn't happen.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. They won the gold medal and then immediately lost the room and I don't think it was their fault.
No, they're a bunch of guys without teeth in a locker room being kind of goaded on and having a comment.
And
right?
then all of a sudden, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat, but then all of a sudden you have the, Kash Patel in the locker room, then you have like the phone call with Trump, and then all the stuff.
The whole thing getting co-opted.
Co-opted.
Yes.
The whole fucking thing getting co-opted.
Yeah.
You know what? We should call this pod co-opted.
I thought I was rounding error.
No, I was thinking
now that we've hired Tanner, it's not a rounding error anymore. This is fucking full budget
error.
Just error.
Full error.
What I was going to say.
Don't even round it.
This is a blockbuster now.
Well,
that's the fucking budget on this thing. That's why we have to get a new sponsor.
Now that we signed Tanner Hall as our first round draft pick, what if we call this pod net loss? Jesus Christ.
It'd be pretty good. I'm compelled.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Tax write-off.
Hey, you ever go to the gym? I know you do private gyms, but
I don't like being that close to other sweaty people.
Have you ever been a member of a gym though?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, right.
Yeah.
There's still people that'll go to a gym, it'll be packed, and then they'll just like co-opt a machine and then do a circuit, but keep their phone and towels on that one machine and then work out on 3 other machines at the same time. I almost got in a fight with the guy over this.
That would have gone viral.
No manners.
Yeah.
No manners in Hollywood.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? There's no manners in Hollywood. All right, Paul. Best things we saw. I got one.
Do it.
I mean, I'm in fucking love, and it's surprising, but I'm honestly obsessed with the show Love Story on FX.
That's how we started the show.
And I'll tell you why. It's the 90s.
My wife is going to love this because now I'm going to actually watch it. She's been pushing for this.
No, Paul, and you're going to love it too. Like, okay, it's the 90s. It's everything we loved. It really brings us back.
Rollerblading. You miss rollerblading every day.
No, but check this out, Paul.
Yeah.
Even if the story, there's holes with this story. It's Ryan Murphy.
Right.
But just because of the 90s, George Magazine, the fucking soundtrack in this thing alone. But it was a wonderful time. The 90s was a wonderful time. The girl who's playing Carolyn Bessette, Sarah Pidgeon, what a great actress. It's a great show. It's a lot of fun. Let's take out the prestige. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, I can't wait. Okay, I never thought I didn't think I was going to see it, but now I am. So.
And the last 2 things I will recommend. Once again, the best show on television. What a season of Industry. They just got renewed for a season 5. If you haven't watched Industry,
the final season, they said they're doing the Breaking Bad thing. They're going to end on top.
They do a whole thing this season about Russian intelligence and Epstein.
Can I skip the first 3 seasons and just watch the 4th season? Because I didn't like it. You lost me, but I want to see it. I feel like I want to be part of the cool kid club.
Maybe just jump to season 2.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, hey, I saw a movie last night I think it's great. Sam Rockwell. Good luck, have fun, don't die.
I've heard about it.
A lot of fun. It's like almost like a Gen Z version of The Matrix, and I'm not talking shit. It was really well done.
Sam Rockwell, Bay Area guy. We need to get him on the pod. Where he went to high school somewhere. You know this.
Who? Oh, Sam
Rockwell.
Yeah. He went to what used to be McAteer.
McAteer.
But now it's a school. You know who directed that? One of your favorite directors.
Who's that?
Gore Verbinski.
Gore Verbinski's back. He directed Pirates of the Caribbean, didn't he?
He did. He did. That's your favorite ride at Disneyland.
Shout out to Henry Rule, my nephew. Just had an epic bachelor party in San Francisco where we spent 7 hours on a boat. And he was given a bicorn hat to make him look like a Navy captain, and he's a big Pirates of the Caribbean guy. My nephew Henry.
Is that?
And if you want to make money in metals and mining, he runs a very, very successful fund.
Does he?
Yeah.
God, you always hold back the good stuff from me. Was there anything that happened on that bachelor party that can't be talked about?
No, it was the first strip clubless bachelor party of my life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because you texted me from one of the venues, asking for me to deliver all sorts of tawdry things to the thing.
Seeing if I could get the guys to go under the roost of fried chicken that we go to the Gold Club.
Gold Club. Hey, you sent me that picture. Who was that girl?
What are you talking about?
The girl in the picture.
I don't think that was it, Kristen, my love of my life, wife. I don't know what he's talking about.
I'm not saying anything like that.
Yeah.
You got any shout outs before we wrap this up?
No, I've been watching stuff, Matt. I watched that Legs Kick Me thing with Rose Byrne. We watched that last night. I actually quite liked it.
Didn't like it. Loved her.
Yeah, she's amazing. I mean, it's an uncomfortable watch. There seems to be this thing happening in cinema where, like, remember a couple years ago, Maggie Gyllenhaal and Olivia Colman did this movie basically about mothers who don't want to be mothers. And but I thought it was a great performance. We just watched.
Can I talk about that real fast?
Yeah.
I love A$AP Rocky as an actor, and I love that dynamic.
He was great.
That dynamic was great. It like you said, it was just a little too
We watched
uncomfortable.
Housemaid recently, which Aaron White apparently took his daughter to.
Jesus.
I don't know if you knew about the Sydney Sweeney naked scene in it.
Yeah.
I guess it was supposed to be a comedy because Paul Feig directed it. He directed Bridesmaids.
Did you like it? Was it bad? I didn't see it.
It's a Lifetime movie, kind of. It was sort of fun-ish. I think it would have been better in the theaters if you know when to laugh and you don't take it too seriously.
I'm sold.
Did you see it, Tanner? Did you see Housemaid?
No, I didn't see
You
it.
didn't see Housemaid. Okay.
Remember there used to be like this website that would basically tell you like where there were, what movies had nude scenes and who was nude.
Oh yeah,
Do
there
you
was
remember
that
this?
one site. That one site.
Yeah, this was a '90s thing too. I think. Before you
yeah.
just pull anything up on the internet.
Right. It was during the Entourage days, actually.
Was it?
Yeah, something like that. Do you see anything else?
Probably. I can't remember now.
Can't remember. So Housemaid's a Lifetime movie. Don't take your daughters to it. There's titties.
Right.
And If I Had Legs.
Yeah.
What's the way it's called?
If I had legs, I'd kick you.
Yes, that's kind of how I feel sitting across from you sometimes.
You do have legs, and there's a table, and no one would see it.
Folks, thanks for listening to the Beat LA podcast. We're going to come back in a couple of weeks. Thank you to Todd Traina. Great guest. Paul, anything else to add?
No, I give welcome Tanner.
Yep.
Glad
Thanks,
to have
guys.
you
Thanks,
aboard, my
fellas.
man. And just stick around afterwards. Is the off-camera initiation session.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. Did you bring the pillow with the soap bars in it?
I don't know.
Yeah, Jesus.
I brought mine.
Oh, there you go.
See, she's prepared.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone, go to a theater and see a movie. Beat LA.
Beat LA.